Pain is the language life uses to test who you really are. Every scar you carry, every sleepless night, every silent tear you've ever hidden, those are not weaknesses. They are the fires that shape the steel inside your soul. Comfort never built warriors. Soft days never created leaders. It's only when life crushes you, when you are on your knees begging for relief, that the real man inside you is forced to rise. Pain is the architect of strength, the teacher of discipline, and the gateway to greatness. The world does not care about excuses. It does not hand crowns to men who want an easy path. The truth is brutal. If you want respect, power, and a legacy, you must be willing to bleed for it. Every obstacle you face is not punishment, it's preparation. The storm is not here to destroy you, it's here to strip away your weakness and show you your true potential. Real men are not born, they are forged through suffering, through sacrifice, through unrelenting struggle. Remember this, comfort creates cowards, but pain creates kings. Pain is the foundation of true strength. And no man can ever rise to greatness without first walking through the fire of suffering. Strength is not built in soft beds. It is not born from lazy mornings or easy victories. Strength is carved into the soul when you are broken, when life rips apart everything you thought you had, and you are left with nothing but your own will to survive. Pain strips away illusions, it takes away comfort, it tears down the fragile shell of weakness, and it forces you to confront who you really are. When you are in pain, you can no longer hide behind excuses. When you are in pain, there is no escape, no mask, only the raw reality of your character. This is why pain is priceless. It is the forge where boys become men and men become unbreakable. Think about it. Every strong man you admire, every champion, every leader, every figure who carved his name into history, none of them were born into strength. They were not given resilience as a gift. They suffered. They bled. They were betrayed, abandoned, tested, broken down, and humiliated. But instead of giving up, instead of hiding from the torment, they embraced it. They understood that pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. Pain whispers truths that comfort will never dare to tell you. Comfort lies. It tells you that you're fine as you are. It tells you that you don't need to push harder. It tells you that mediocrity is acceptable. But pain screams at you. Pain reminds you that you are still weak, still fragile, still untested. Pain forces you to rise or remain nothing. Every time life crushes you, you are faced with a choice: to surrender and let the pain destroy you, or to stand up, grit your teeth, and use that same pain as fuel. The man who avoids pain spends his life running in circles, never growing, never evolving, never becoming anything worth remembering. But the man who accepts pain, the man who welcomes it, that man becomes unstoppable. He learns to smile through struggle, to carry the weight no one else dares to lift, to keep walking when his legs are trembling, to keep fighting when his hands are broken. That is the essence of real strength. It's not about never falling. It's about rising every time you are smashed into the ground. The truth is, pain is a privilege. Yes, it burns. Yes, it shatters you. Yes, it feels like the end. But what feels like the end is only the beginning. Pain opens doors no comfort ever will. The discipline you gain when you drag yourself out of bed, even though your body is screaming in agony. The mental fortitude you sharpen when you push through rejection, failure, and defeat. The resilience you develop when you keep going after loss, heartbreak, and betrayal. These things cannot be learned in peace. They cannot be handed to you. They must be earned through pain. That is why the strongest men are always the ones who suffered the most, because they turned their scars into weapons and their wounds into wisdom. If you think about your own life, the moments that changed you, the moments that made you tougher, sharper, stronger, they were never the easy moments. They were the times you thought you couldn't take it anymore. The times when the pressure felt unbearable. The times when you cried alone, when no one believed in you, when no one came to save you. That pain built you. That suffering taught you what nothing else could. And if you can endure that, if you can rise from that, there is nothing in this world that can break you. So stop fearing pain. Stop running from it. Stop begging for an easy life. Because the easy life destroys men. It softens them. It makes them fragile. The easy life produces weakness, dependency, and regret. You were not born to be comfortable. You were born to fight, to conquer, to rise through struggle. Every time you embrace pain, you are stepping closer to the man you were meant to be. Every trial, every Every heartbreak, every setback is not punishment, it is preparation. The world is preparing you for greatness, and the price of greatness is suffering. If you pay that price, you will become a man no one can bend, no one can control, no one can destroy. Remember this, pain is the foundation of true strength. Without it, you are hollow, soft, and forgettable. With it, you are forged into steel. With it, you earn respect, power, and legacy. Pain is the fire that purifies, the weight that strengthens, the storm that sharpens. The more you endure, the more unshakable you become. Let the world break you. Let it challenge you. Let it hurt you. Because every ounce of pain you survive adds another layer of armor around your soul. And when the day comes where others fall, where others quit, you will still be standing. That is the gift of pain. That is real strength. Comfort weakens, struggle builds. It's the truth that most men run from because comfort feels good, it feels safe, it feels easy. But what feels good today will betray you tomorrow. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition, the thief of potential, the poison that robs men of greatness without them even realizing it. Comfort tells you to stay in bed a little longer, to take the easy route, to avoid the risk, to settle for less. And every time you listen, you are surrendering a piece of your power. You don't see it immediately, but day by day. Comfort erodes your edge. It softens your discipline. It steals the fire that once burned in your soul. Men who live in comfort decay while they're still alive, slowly becoming hollow shells who once dreamed of more, but never had the courage to fight for it. Struggle, on the other hand, is the opposite. Struggle hurts. Struggle is heavy. Struggle makes you doubt yourself. It makes you question whether you can endure another day, another fight, another disappointment. Struggle forces you to carry burdens that feel unbearable, but it is precisely that burden that builds you. Every ounce of weight you carry strengthens your spirit. Every challenge sharpens your mind. Every setback hardens your resolve. Struggle is not the enemy. It is the maker of men. Without it, there is no growth, no discipline, no power. The man who avoids struggle avoids transformation. The man who embraces it, who welcomes it, becomes untouchable. Think about the strongest people who ever walked this earth. They were not molded in comfort. They were not born in luxury. They were raised in the fire of struggle. They knew hunger. They knew pain. They knew loss. And they refused to be defeated by it. Their success wasn't a gift. It was a reward for enduring what others could not. That's why the man who has suffered deeply is always stronger than the man who has lived softly. One knows how to fight. The other only knows how to complain. One has built resilience through blood and sweat. The other has built excuses through laziness and fear. Comfort whispers lies. It tells you you've done enough. It tells you you deserve a break. It tells you that tomorrow is guaranteed, so you can waste today. But struggle tells the truth. Struggle exposes your weaknesses and forces you to face them. Struggle pushes you to the edge, and at that edge, you discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. Struggle forces you to grow into the kind of man who can carry responsibility, who can lead, who can endure what others can't. That's why the path of struggle is the only path to greatness. It doesn't look glamorous, it doesn't feel easy, but it is the only road that leads to strength, respect, and legacy. When you look back at your own life, the moments that shaped you, the moments that truly defined you, they were never the comfortable moments, they were the battles. The nights you stayed awake fighting your own thoughts, the mornings you got up even when your body begged you to quit, the days you faced rejection, loss, heartbreak, betrayal, and still found a way to keep moving. Those struggles built you. They carved strength into your bones and fire into your spirit. And yet most men pray for comfort. They beg for the easy life, not realizing that the easy life is a slow death. A comfortable man dies before his body ever does, because his spirit is starved of challenge, starved of growth, starved of the fight that makes him alive. Struggle builds because struggle demands. It demands effort when you're exhausted. It demands courage when you're afraid. It demands perseverance when you feel like giving up. And every time you meet those demands, you grow stronger, sharper, tougher. Struggle gives back what comfort steals. It gives you discipline, self, respect, pride, and the unshakable knowledge that you can endure. That is something no comfortable man will ever know. The man who has only lived in ease will always crumble when true hardship comes because he has no foundation. The man who has struggled, however, can never be broken because his foundation is made of battles survived and storms endured. Comfort weakens because it removes your hunger. It tricks you into thinking you've arrived when you haven't even started. It dulls your instincts. It puts out the fire in your soul. It makes you passive in a world that demands aggression. Struggle does the opposite. It fuels hunger. It keeps you sharp, alert, ready. It reminds you that nothing is guaranteed, that everything must be earned, that life respects only those who fight for what they want. So stop fearing struggle. Stop begging for a life without challenges. Stop praying for comfort because it is not your friend. Every ounce of pain you feel, every setback you endure, every hardship you face, it is building you into something greater. It is chiseling away weakness and carving out strength. One day when you stand tall with scars on your body and fire in your soul, you will thank the struggle for making you a man, and you will despise the comfort that once tried to keep you weak. Comfort weakens, struggle builds. And if you want to be remembered, respected, and unstoppable, you must choose the path that hurts, the path that demands, the path that forces you to grow, because only through struggle will you ever become the man you were destined to be. Every hardship is preparation, not punishment. Life does not throw storms at you to destroy you. It sends them to prepare you for battles you don't even know are coming. Too many men mistake pain for punishment, as if the universe is cruel, as if fate is unfair, as if every struggle is some curse holding them back. But that is weakness speaking. The truth is every hardship is a lesson, a training ground, a sharpening of the blade. The pain you feel today is not the end. It is the rehearsal for the war you must fight tomorrow. And if you can survive today's hardship, if you can carry the weight you didn't think you could bear, you will walk into tomorrow stronger, sharper, harder to break. Hardship is not your enemy. Hardship is your preparation. When you are tested, when you are betrayed, when you are abandoned, when you lose everything you thought was yours, that is life stripping away your illusions. It is removing the comfort, the weakness, the excuses. It is putting you in the fire to see if you will melt or if you will harden into steel. Every challenge you endure teaches you something: patience, discipline, control, resilience. These lessons are not available in peace. They are only taught through struggle. And the man who learns them early, who embraces hardship instead of fearing it, becomes unstoppable. Think about the soldier before the war. He doesn't complain about the weight of his training, the endless drills, the bruises, the exhaustion. He knows that every hardship in training is not punishment. It is preparation for the battlefield where mistakes cost lives. Life works the same way. Your failures, your losses, your heartbreaks, your suffering, these are your training grounds. They are preparing you for a future where strength will be required, where discipline will be the difference between victory and defeat. The man who avoids hardship, who begs for ease, will collapse the moment true adversity arrives. But the man who has lived through storms will stand unshaken. Every time you face hardship, you are being given an opportunity to level up. When you lose money, it teaches you how to handle wealth with wisdom. When you face betrayal, it sharpens your instincts and teaches you to trust carefully. When you fail, it humbles your ego and shows you where you must improve. When you suffer heartbreak, it hardens your emotions and teaches you to love without dependency. All these hardships feel like punishment in the moment, but years later, you look back and realize they were preparation. Without them, you would not have survived the challenges that came after. Without them, you would not be who you are. But weak men resist this truth. They complain. They wallow in self-pity. They ask, why me? Why is life so unfair? That mindset guarantees they never grow. They remain trapped in the belief that life is against them, instead of realizing that life is equipping them. Hardship is not a curse. It is the gift that separates men from boys, lions from sheep, leaders from followers. Every hardship you endure adds armor to your soul, making you more resilient, more capable, more dangerous. And yet, the majority run from it, numb themselves with distractions, hide from the very struggles designed to make them strong. Preparation is never comfortable. Ask any athlete, any fighter, any warrior. Training hurts, discipline hurts, sacrifice hurts. But when the time comes to step into the arena, when the lights are on and the pressure is real, the man who suffered in preparation smiles because he is ready. The man who chased comfort is exposed because he is weak. Life is the same. Every hardship you face is preparing you for the arenas you cannot see yet, the challenges, the opportunities, the responsibilities that will come later. If you embrace hardship now, you will be ready when it matters most. If you run from it, you will be crushed when it arrives. Think about fire. Fire burns, fire destroys, fire consumes. but it also purifies, it also strengthens, it also forges. Steel becomes steel only when it survives the fire. Diamonds form only under pressure. The oak tree grows deep roots only when the storms test it. Why would a man be any different? If you want to be unbreakable, you must be broken first. If you want to be strong, you must first be tested. That is the law of nature, and no man escapes it. Every hardship is not the universe punishing you. It is the universe preparing you for the man you are meant to become. So stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Stop resenting hardship. Stop fearing it. Stop running from it. The very things you think are breaking you are actually shaping you. Every sleepless night, every loss, every failure, every betrayal, they're all sharpening your edge, hardening your spirit, building your strength. And one day when life places you in a moment that would destroy a weaker man, you will stand tall and realize why you had to endure everything you did. Every hardship is preparation, not punishment. If you understand this, you will never see struggle the same way again. You will embrace it. You will welcome it because you will know that every challenge is another step in your transformation, another layer of strength being added, another piece of weakness being burned away. Hardship is the path. Hardship is the training. Hardship is the preparation for the greatness that waits for you. And when the time comes to claim it, you will not only be ready, you will be unstoppable. Real men are forged, not born. No man enters this world ready. No man is handed strength, discipline, or respect as a gift. Every man begins the same, fragile, soft, untested. It is what he does with his life, what he endures, what he chooses to face, that shapes him into something greater. Real men are not created in comfort, they are created in chaos. They are not molded by praise, but by rejection. They are not defined by easy victories, but by the wars they survive. To be forged means to be broken down, hammered, burned, and reforged until all weakness is stripped away and only steel remains. The illusion of being born a man is one of the greatest lies society tells. Manhood is not granted by age, money, or appearance. It is earned through trial. You are not a man because of what you look like, or because time passes, or because you can speak loudly. You are a man when you can endure pain and keep moving. You are a man when you can carry responsibility on your shoulders without collapsing. You are a man when you refuse to break, even when life beats you into the dirt. That transformation requires struggle. It requires being tested again and again in ways that break weaker men. Forging is a violent process. Imagine steel under the hammer. It is pounded, bent, and shaped under unbearable heat until it becomes a weapon. That is what life does to men. Every betrayal, every failure, every sleepless night, every heartbreak is another strike of the hammer. Every challenge is another blast of the fire. And as painful as it feels, as impossible as it seems, those moments are shaping you. They are stripping away the weak parts of you, the laziness, the fear, the doubt, and leaving behind the version of you that can withstand anything. The truth is, most men never allow themselves to be forged. They resist the fire. They run from the hammer. They choose the easy life. They believe they are enough as they are. But deep down, they are hollow. A real man cannot exist without the fire, without tests, without trials. He remains soft, unready, and easily broken. Look around the world today. You will see many males, but very few men. The difference is simple. Males exist by birth, but men exist by forging. Being forged means embracing suffering instead of running from it. It means allowing hardship to carve strength into your bones. It means refusing comfort, refusing weakness, and choosing discipline when every part of you wants to quit. Real men don't wait to be rescued, they rescue themselves. Real men don't cry for easier lives, they sharpen themselves for the hardest battles. Real men don't fear failure because they know every failure is another strike of the hammer, another step in the forging process. Every man who has built something worth remembering has scars to prove it. Look at leaders, warriors, inventors, champions. Their greatness did not come from luck. It came from suffering, sacrifice, relentless work, and years of being tested when no one was watching. They were forged in silence, in doubt, in pain. That is why their victories shine so bright. Their victories are not trophies. They are proof of survival, proof that they endured when others quit, proof that they were willing to be broken down so they could rise unbreakable. The process of forging never ends. Even as you grow stronger, life continues to test you, continues to push you deeper into the fire. Every new level of strength requires new levels of suffering. And that is the beauty of it. You are never truly finished. You are always evolving, always hardening, always becoming more than you were yesterday. That's why real men don't fear struggle. They crave it. They know the fire is their ally, the hammer is their teacher. They understand that every trial is an opportunity to grow sharper, harder, and more dangerous. But here's the harsh truth. Not everyone will make it. Not every male will endure the process. Some will crumble under the heat. Some will shatter under the hammer. Some will give up before they ever discover the strength waiting inside them. And that is why real men are rare. That is why they are respected. Because to survive the forging process is not easy. It takes courage, endurance, and an unshakable refusal to quit. If you want to be a real man, stop asking for comfort. Stop begging for recognition. Stop wishing for an easy road. Instead, step into the fire willingly. Take the hits. Endure the pain. Face the struggles that scare you. Because every hardship you embrace is another strike of the hammer shaping you. Every sacrifice you make is another layer of steel being added to your spirit. Every scar you carry is proof that you survived the fire and became something greater than you were before. Real men are not born, they are forged. Forged in pain, forged in loss, forged in sacrifice, forged in the endless battles of life. And if you accept that truth, if you embrace the fire instead of running from it, you will rise as one of the few, one of the unbreakable, one of the men who cannot be destroyed. You will become more than just a male who exists. You will become a man who commands respect, who carries power, and who leaves behind a legacy that will never fade. Pain is the price of respect, power, and legacy. Every man wants to be respected. Every man dreams of power. Every man craves to leave a mark that will outlive him, but very few are willing to pay the price. Respect is not given, it is earned. Power is not gifted, it is seized. Legacy is not built in comfort, it is carved out of blood, sweat, and sacrifice. The world does not respect weakness. The world does not remember the man who lived softly and avoided struggle. The world remembers the man who suffered more than others, who endured what others could not, who embraced pain and turned it into fuel for greatness. Respect comes from showing the world you can suffer without breaking. When people see you push through agony, when they watch you refuse to quit under pressure, when they witness you endure hardship without complaint, respect grows. No one respects the man who folds under pain. No one respects the man who cries for mercy the moment life gets heavy. Respect belongs to the man who welcomes the weight, who carries it without fear, who shows the strength that only suffering can create. Pain is the proof of your strength, and without proof, respect will never be yours. Power is built the same way. True power is not money, not fame, not empty influence. It is the strength to bend reality to your will. And that kind of power only comes from enduring what others avoid. Pain teaches control. Pain teaches patience. Pain teaches discipline. A man who has never known pain cannot control himself, and a man who cannot control himself will never control anything else. Power is the reward for years of suffering, for years of resisting weakness, for years of doing what hurts because it is necessary. If you want power, you must embrace the pain that builds it. Every sacrifice, every loss, every ounce of struggle is an investment into your strength, and that strength is the root of real power. Legacy is the final reward, but it too demands suffering. Legacies are not written by comfortable men. They are not remembered for easy lives. They are remembered for struggle, for sacrifice, for enduring hardships so great that their story inspires generations. Every legacy you admire was built on pain, the battles fought, the scars earned, the mountains climbed, the sacrifices made. Those are what carve a man's name into eternity. Legacy is not about living forever. It is about doing something that makes your name impossible to forget. And the cost of that immortality is pain. Most men want these things, respect, power, legacy, but they want them without suffering. They want the rewards without the sacrifice. They want the glory without the scars. They want the throne without bleeding for it. That is why they fail. That is why their names are forgotten, because the universe is not foolish. It does not hand crowns to men who refuse to pay. The price is pain. And if you will not pay it, you will never have what you claim to want. Pain is not punishment. It is currency. Every drop of sweat, every tear, every scar is a down payment on the man you wish to become. Every moment you endure builds interest, compounding your strength, your reputation, your legacy. And the man who suffers the most often rises the highest because he has paid more than anyone else was willing to. Pain is the great equalizer. It does not care where you were born, what you look like, or how much you have. It only cares how much you can endure. But here lies the truth that breaks most men. Pain is not a one-time price. You do not suffer once and suddenly own respect, power, and legacy. You pay every day. You pay when you wake up tired, but still put in the work. You pay when you face rejection, but keep moving. You pay when you lose people you love, but refuse to quit. You pay when the world beats you down, and you stand anyway. Respect is built daily. Power is earned daily. Legacy is carved daily. And the payment is always pain. Those who run from pain never understand this. They choose comfort, and comfort robs them of everything they want. They want respect, but they choose ease, so no one takes them seriously. They want power, but they avoid sacrifice, so they remain powerless. They want legacy, but they live softly, so they are forgotten. The man who embraces pain, however, accepts the price with pride. He sees every hardship as another investment. He smiles through struggle because he knows the suffering is not wasted. It is buying him something greater. One day, your pain will tell your story. People will respect you because of what you endured. They will admire you because you chose suffering over weakness. They will remember you because you paid the price most men refuse to pay. That is legacy. That is immortality. That is the reward for a life lived in the fire. So understand this clearly. Pain is the price of respect, power, and legacy. Stop running from it. Stop resenting it. Embrace it as your greatest ally, because every second you suffer is a step closer to the man you dream of becoming. Every scar is proof that you paid your dues. Every hardship is evidence that you earned what you have. Pain is the gatekeeper, and only those willing to bleed may pass. If you can endure more than others, you will rise above them. And when your life ends, your name will remain carved in the stone of history, not because you lived in comfort, but because you paid the price in pain. And now understand this truth. Life was never meant to be easy, and if it were, you would never rise above the millions who waste their days in mediocrity. Pain is not your enemy. It is your compass.